Alright, so what is up everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the speedometer cable in a square body. This is a 1982 truck, but I'm pretty sure it's the same for all of them, but don't quote me on that. And I have an automatic transmission, so that might make a difference. I have a 3-speed automatic, so that might make a difference too. So what you got to do is, you got to take what I did, you have to take the dashboard out because it was easier. So you have to take out the dashboard, and that's pretty simple. There's one screw over there. Here, I'll just go around and show you. Okay, so there's one screw right here. You can see the hole. I actually already had this halfway torn apart, but so there's one screw right there, which is a Phillips, and you got to have like a really short stubby screwdriver to get here. There's doors right there, and there's 4 bolts down here on the passenger side, and that's it. That's actually it. There's 4 of these bolts on the bottom, and then this Phillips on the side. That's everything you need to take them out, and I believe that these bolts are, let's see here, these bolts are a 9/32 socket, so, or wrench, whatever. So that's how you take those out. You got to take the trim piece around the instrument cluster off, which is just, I don't know how many bolts or how many screws, just a bunch of Phillips head screws. Go all around here. You can see the holes are there and there and there, there. Yeah, so you gotta take that off. There's a little piece down there that you gotta pull off, and a little dust ring that you gotta pull back. The steering column. You gotta pull that little ring there up. So you gotta take the trim piece off first. Then you can take the rest of the dashboard out. Then you can take your instrument cluster out, which you actually have to take apart. It's not very easy to do. You have to take this plastic cover off here, which is again for 6. I'm wrong again. 6 screws, and those are a 1/4 inch, 1/4 socket to take these bolts out. And this plastic clear piece comes off. Don't scratch it. This little plastic or metal thing, depending on what year it is, comes off. And then you got your 2 bolts out here and here, which are also a 1/4 inch socket to take your speedometer out. That lifts away. Don't break the needle. And then your speedometer cable will be resting in there. Look, right there. That's your cable. And that middle piece there, oops, I don't have anything to poke it with. That middle piece there, that square piece, will spin as your speed increases, which then spins the speedometer, which your speedometer reads speed. So there's a clip. You can reach in here. You can kind of see it. Not really, just kidding. You can't see it with the flashlight. Alright, so there's that little clip. You can see it in there. You got to pull that, reach your finger into that square and pull it towards you. You can see it moving there, vaguely. But you got to pull that towards you. And while you're pulling that the clip towards you, you have to pull the plastic cluster out. And that kind of wiggles out of there. And this will get stuck about 4 times, probably. And you got to just kind of tug on it after it looks like it's out. You got to just kind of tug on it a little bit. Or not tug on it, you have to politely encourage it to come free. See, I already had this out and it's stuck. See, I've just politely encouraged it. And then take your wiring harness off for your gauges, which will be plugged in right there. You just squeeze these 2 tabs, top and bottom there, and it'll pop out. Again, that might also need some help because remember, it's been in there for 35, 40 years. Then you set that aside. And there. You got your cable. and a giant hole in your dashboard. Now would be a great time to clean out all of the wasp nests that collected while your truck sat for a few years. See, there was 2. There's a third one over there. There's a 4th one the other day that fell out on the floorboard. There's a 5th one up there too with the defrost. Yeah, you'll have a couple wasp nests, especially if it's sat. So yeah, that's that, and then it just, I believe you just push it out. You know, okay, so it snakes down there. So you guys can see. It snakes down. Hold on to, I don't know where my camera is. Snakes down right there. It's that black line. It's the black thing by the yellow wire. That's the speedometer cable. I'm moving right now. So that pushes through that grommet and then comes out in your engine bay. Right there. Right there. That's your speedometer cable, and that snakes down underneath here. And something else to mention, actually, my truck factory had a manual transmission. So the speedometer cable and everything else is routed for a manual transmission truck. So it actually probably doesn't matter between manual or automatic. Because the guy we bought this from swapped the automatic into it. It was a factory stick shift. I think it was a factory 3-speed. Okay, so I figured it out, and you basically just, you can either push on it from the inside or pull on it from the outside, pretty much. And it'll comes out. Not quite sure what happens after I hit the metal thing, but I guess we'll find out. Found it. Alright, so it's a little bit of encouragement. Kind of wiggle it. That's helping. I would say you could cut it, but I really want to get this out without cutting it because I obviously don't want to cut the new one. I'm also not sure that you could even cut through this without a manual grinder. Oh, there's something popped. Which either means something broke or it moved. Hold on a second. So, after some examination, I realized that the wires in that grommet is actually what's keeping me from being able to pull this out. There's 2 blue wires and a brown wire, and those were not there from the factory. That is where the brake controller went. That is where we wired the brake controller up. So, you really probably wouldn't have this problem if you didn't have wires there. But I do, so yeah. It doesn't fit at all. So let's pull harder. Now she's coming. Just don't break the wire. Dang it. There we go. Just a bit of encouragement needed. I'm not quite sure how I'll get the new one through there. But I guess we'll cross that when we come to it. I just hope it didn't ruin my wires. So it looks like you got one clip there where you just loosen the bolt and it'll come off. And there's another one further down right there. Okay, so the socket you need to get the top clip off is a 15 millimeter. Okay, so this little bracket here takes some finessing to get off too. You got to use your certified pry bar to, seriously? I just spent 5 minutes trying to get that off and that came off that easy. That's annoying. So I went ahead and just took the cable off without videotaping. It was easier. But anyway, you bend this clip right here. It bends out, so you can get that pretty easy. This one here, there's a nut. There you can see. Whoops, hold on. Focus. There. That one there's a nut that you can take off, or what I did, I just bent it bigger with a screwdriver. Let's see where it's bent, so I just made it fit. Pretty much. So, and then it just kind of snakes through up around there, up above your transmission. It just snakes around there and goes into the side right there. You can see where it's pretty obvious open spot is right there. That's where it plugs in at. You shouldn't have any fluid spill out. If you do, it'll just be a couple drips. It won't be anything major. But have a drip pan ready just in case, because you never know. So that pretty much covers the removal and installation of the reverser removal. But I'll walk you through that real quick too. Put your old one and your new one up next to each other side by side and make sure that they're the same length or a little bit longer. A little bit longer won't hurt anything. My new one's about a foot longer. It shouldn't hurt anything. It'll be okay. Just give you a little bit extra slack to work with. You really don't want to grease it because it'll just attract dirt if you put oil or grease on it. So I wouldn't do anything with it. It spins fine. The way it is, spins pretty easy. So I wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, I'll just put it back in. So I think probably your best option would be to start with the small end, which would be the end that, let me get it, okay, this end, the end that goes to the speedometer cable up inside the cab, because it's smaller, so my recommendation would be to slide that through these two brackets, and make it easier. Obviously make sure you're feeding it the right way, or you'll have to undo it. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Just crawl around here. Let's situate a second. Alright, so we're going to slide this up through this one. It'll be a tight fit, but it'll go. Just got to kind of finesse it a little bit. And again, the stupid wires are in there, but it went through okay. Ouch. It'll go up here. Put it up through there. Bend that back. Doesn't have to be perfect, just bend it back. And just, I have dirt now, that's great. Ow. Okay, and then just feed it back up. Just keep pushing it. Just push it up into the engine, but you don't have to get it situated right yet. Just keep going until you got enough. And remember, if it's a little bit longer, you'll have a little extra, excuse me, a little extra slack somewhere. So that's about right for what I need. So we'll go ahead and move up top now. I ended up having the same problem that I had that I anticipated having earlier. I cannot get the new thing, the new cable, through this grommet because of these wires. So I ended up pulling the grommet out of the firewall. Hopefully that'll let it stretch enough that I can get the cable through. I'm just biting the bullet, and I cut the grommet in half. Or I put a slit in it, I guess would be a better way to say that. So yeah, now I can get the cable through there, and just push it back on the firewall, and you'll probably never notice. Hopefully it won't leak. Okay, so it took a lot of trying, but I ended up cutting the grommet and getting the speedometer cable through there and put the grommet back in. It wasn't too hard, it was just trying to figure out how to do it. I got this bracket on there, I just haven't put the bolt in yet. If you just get it on there, you can just use the bolt to drive it in the rest of the way. Okay, so after I crawled under here, I kind of realized that since this cable's longer, we really don't need that bend shield. We really don't need this thing, so I'm not going to put it on there. Because I'd be trying to bend the cable to actually get that on there, and I can just let the cable be if I don't put it on there. So, you got to kind of adjust your slack a little bit. But all you really got to do for these is, let's focus. Okay, so all you got to really do for these is push them in. They got to figure it out. You're not going to just right, so like there, it's pushing the cable inside it's pushing the wire inside of the housing, so you gotta use some pliers and kind of push it. There. Now it's in there. If you just stick it in here, it may not connect, and it may not register on your speedo. Alright, so now we got that in there. Still not right. Okay, there. Just tighten it down. Alright, well there, now we got this actually threaded on here. Just couldn't do it with one hand holding the camera. So throw that on there, hand tight. And then you go one pair of, not vice grips, but I guess channel lock pliers. I think that's what they're called. And you want to tighten that down. You don't want to torque it too much because that's what I guess is galvanized steel, and transmission's obviously all aluminum. So you want to be a bit easy on it. So we're good underneath, it looks like. That's kind of a sharp curve, so we want to try to work that out. You want to have really gradual curves. You can have a lot of gradual curves, but you need gradual curves. The sharp curves just don't work. And you obviously want to make sure it's not touching your exhaust manifold when you do this also. So there, we got that. That's pretty good, I would say. Take that up and I clip that came loose from there. Okay. So yeah, now we're going to go back up top. Okay, so now that we're all done outside, we can come in here and start putting all this back together. So we want to get the instrument cluster first, the actual body of this first, and plug your wiring harness in first. If you want to clean this up, you can. I really don't care because I don't see it. So plug your wiring harness in, make sure your pins are clean and in line before you plug it in. If anything's broken, now's the time to fix it. Plug it in, be gentle with these printed circuits because they're brittle here. Alright, so now they got the wiring harness plugged in. Now, here, this is that little tab I was talking about earlier. You gotta reach in through here. Oops, hold on a minute, I'll find it in a second, I'll show you a better angle. Here, you gotta reach in through here, and you'll be able, when the cable's in there, you'll be able to get your finger on that tab and pull it down and let it open it. Or not open it, but yeah. You just put it in here, push down. Do that, and just like that, she's in. So anyway, to get the cable out, you just got to reach back here, pull that tab down. You can do it from when the gauge cluster's still in there, if you have to. So then you just push everything back in here, and again, be careful with your printed circuit. Just tuck everything into the dashboard, which for some reason it doesn't like at all fit well. The actual plastic is like really too big for the whole dashboard, whatever. So there. Now's also a good time to check, make sure all of your lights work. I believe that light comes on the ignition. That's your choke light. That would be four-wheel drive. I don't have four-wheel drive. That's your seatbelt, and that's your parking brake. So check all your lights. And a trick that I learned, actually, to make your lights a little bit brighter, is get some of that aluminum tape, the like aluminum duct tape, and put it. You can see the flash reflecting off of it, and it reflects more light back towards your gauges. You don't have to put it on the back of the gauges. Just put it all around the inside this cluster here. You can go really crazy and like put it all on the back, but on the sides is really what helps. And on the back of this little cover, the little beauty cover that covers up the plastic when you put your glass on it, put it on the back of there, especially all around like that. That helps tremendously with the lighting. So just put your speedometer back in. And then just start putting your screws back in. I think all these These are the silver screws, and they are a 1/4 inch, a 1/4 inch socket. Okay, and now we can put the black bolts in, which hold the actual plastic in. The plastic, I don't know, the plastic, I guess it used to be white, but now it's yellow, the plastic yellow thing. So see, these black bolts here hold your dashboard in and hold the instrument cluster in. Those are 9/32 bolts. And then we got this clear plastic piece in, which uses the silver bolts again. And that is a 1/4 inch socket to put those in. And then now we move to putting the dashboard back in. Okay, so to put this back in, there's two, you can see one of the clips. There's a clip there. There's a clip over here in the middle. You can see right there. And there's another clip over here. You can see through there that you got to get into a slot. And that holds the top of the dashboard in. You got to kind of, again, persuade it to go into place. Make sure that you get your factory spec tachometer and back in place. So now we got the screw here, there, down there, and down there. We got Phillips head screw right there, and we are good for the dashboard. And then we can just put that back together, and we are done. What I found worked really good for this screw here is a small ratchet with a 1/4 inch socket, and then you put a drill bit with a drill hex bit into that. It's a Phillips, and then you can ratchet this screw in because you really can't get a screwdriver in this small gap. It works better with 2 hands. So something that makes putting this in a lot easier is to take your headlight switch out, pull the headlight switch out, push the button in there, and then pull the switch out. Switches out, and your headlights are on while this is happening. So you want to pull the switch out, put the cover in, put the switch back in to turn your lights back off. Otherwise, you're going to run your battery dead. So now you want to put your headlight switch back in so you don't kill your battery. Sorry. So push it all the way in, pull it all the way out to make sure that it's in there and doesn't fall out. Make sure that the button unreleased, and then you're good. So turn your lights off so you don't kill your battery. And then just put the screws in. There's screws all up along. There's 4 screws there, 2 screws there, 4, 2 there, 2 there, 4 down there, 2 more here. And then we are done. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.